Hi, I want to talk about mindful eating today. So let me know comment below if you've heard of this before. It's definitely more of like a trendy thing that we're hearing lately, but I just wanted to highlight about more of this and how you can incorporate this more into your life if you choose to. So essentially, mindful eating is really paying attention to what we're eating on purpose. And this is slowing down and making eating more intentional and less automatic, which is pretty much the opposite of what we do every day, most people. So we're paying attention to our hunger and our fullness cues that our body is giving us. And this really helps us to identify the difference between emotional hunger and true physical hunger. Digestion is truly an amazing process in the body. So as the stomach fills with food and water and expands, there's stretch receptors in the stomach that are activated, and these communicate with neurotransmitters in the brain. And this produces a sense of pleasure and fullness after we've eaten. This process can take up to 20 minutes to happen. So eating too quickly, we're not giving this hormonal crosstalk time to work and maybe not realizing we are actually full and have had enough to eat. Our society does totally disassociate the importance of taking the time to enjoy a meal, especially midday, when we're working, and it is challenging with scheduling. So I hear that it's definitely more challenging to do, but I just have some tips that I want to share with you today to try to incorporate this in even the smallest way possible into your schedule. So maybe that means choosing one meal this week that you're going to try to incorporate some of these tactics with. So I just encourage you to try to, first of all, be more aware of how you are eating most of your meals. Are you driving typically? Are you watching TV? Are you on your phone? Like, what is this looking like? Awareness always precedes that change. So first we have to be aware of our behaviors. So the first thing that is the first tip is awareness and how you're eating most often, like what's typically occurring with your meals. And this can vary based on certain meals. But one of my clients, that was one of her goals. We were focusing on trying to sit down and have breakfast before she left for the day, and, incorporating this with her children. And maybe this means waking up a little bit earlier. But also our digestive system works so much better when we allow our bodies to rest and digest when we're eating. Like, things just work better rather than when we're rushing around doing a million things trying to eat and digest our food. The second thing is to make eating the occasion. So typically it's absolutely the other way around, where eating is just more of like something we have to do, but really switching that focus and making that be enough of what you're doing and trying to remove entertainment or distractions. And the next thing is to portion out your food onto a plate or bowl. A lot of times we're either eating from a bag or a container or whatever. And if you start to just plate your food, like, make it look nice. Chefs are literally trained as part of their training how to plate food with presentation. So they use colors and flavor profiles and placement on their plate. And, we'll see this in restaurants, but you can absolutely do this at home with what you're making. Like, you don't have to be trained with this. It's just being more aware of this. And I will tell you, we eat with our senses, like we do. And we enjoy our food when we're, seeing that visual representation of like, this looks good and satisfying when it's presented to us. And then just sit down and eat your food rather than standing on the island and, or in front of the refrigerator, or whatever this is looking like. Set the environment for your meal, like make it an experience, an occasion. So maybe play music, have a conversation with your spouse or your family or your kids, and slow down. Like, slow down when you're eating, put your fork down, chew your food, take a sip of water in between bites, like slow down the process. Really just try to like engage more with your meal, and chew your food slowly. This allows the brain to connect more to the stomach. Like this allows that process to happen, and we can be more aware of that. Start to notice, like use your senses when you're eating, like we're talking about with the plate. So your plate looks satisfying with color, and like when your plate is white with like all white food, it's not exciting to us. Like the color is so visually attractive with plating. So like taste your food, focus on the taste. A lot of times you won't need as much seasoning on things when you actually start to like taste your food, and appreciate that. So the texture, is there a smell, like, with the fruit or something like that? Is it sweet? Is it savory? And just noticing those things. How are you feeling after you eat your meal? Are you full? Are you satisfied? When we're distracted, our brain is less likely to feel satisfied. And you deserve to take a break and slow down. A lot of times we put ourselves last, especially, if you have kids, they're the priority. But if your child said they don't have time to eat all day, would you allow that? Like, would you say, oh yeah, I'm just going to let my daughter not eat today or not pack her lunch and it's fine. We'll just make up for it at dinner or we'll eat later. No, you wouldn't do that. So why are you valuing yourself less than other people in your life? You are just as important. You are worth nourishing, and even if it takes time and precedent over something else. So those were just some tips I want you to try. Comment below at least like one thing that you're going to try to do this week at one meal, and just start to notice, like, how does that feel? Was it like annoying? Was it helpful? What did you notice when you were eating and after you ate? And I think that you will notice some positive changes from that. I'm going to try to set up a mindful eating challenge in my Facebook group. So one day focusing on some of these tips and just sharing the experience with that. So it's, our bodies are very cool and amazing process. So it's just cool to recognize that.